So today we have rapid fire Star Wars news, but first of all, happy July 4th to all of my friends across the pond. I'm wishing you a fantastic day, and to you watching this video right now, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you do, please be sure to smash that like button on your way out today. And just before we dive into it, if you've not done so, please be sure to hit that big red subscribe button and also hit the bell to be alerted every time that I post a new video. So no more jibber jabber, we begin with Star Wars Ahsoka. It's time to board the hype train. We're just 50 days away, and now executive producer Carrie Beck has discussed the overwhelmingly positive impact the late great Ray Stevenson left on the set of the show. He of course is playing Baylan Skull, we've spoken in depth about his character, and Carrie Beck told Total Film magazine that his presence loomed large on set. She said during the production, he had an infectious enthusiasm and gregariousness that he shared with his fellow cast and crew. Carrie describes how he brought a philosopher's depth to the character of Baylan that pairs well with his imposing physical strength. And upon reflecting on his legacy, she said this: "It's still difficult to comprehend that he won't be here to experience the outcome of his hard work. He was so energized at Star Wars Celebration, seeing the love from the fandom. We will all miss him terribly." A fitting tribute, and as I've said before, I'm really hoping the fandom gets on board with the character of Baylan. I think we're speculating from the wrong angle, and the truth will blow our minds. I've been watching a few Star Wars Celebration interviews with Ivana Sakno and the late great Ray Stevenson, and even Lars Mikkelsen. Now whenever the topic of Thrawn's assassins comes up, they seem to use words like sympathy, the fact they're catalysts, and I was trying to piece together what they meant by this, and then it dawned on me, I think Baylan and Shin are going to be used as examples of symbolism of when Force institutions like the Jedi and Sith get corrupt, because Ahsoka knows all about that. Barriss Sophie may have framed her, but even Barriss knew the truth. The Jedi Order had lost its way, and Ahsoka knows that better than anyone. But Baylan and Shin, presumably they're some kind of dark Jedi. Baylan was a survivor of Order 66, and he and Shin may have once been Inquisitors, and in a way there might be a tragedy to the situation and the positions they're in. They may not be able to escape. They live a life of servitude to a greater power, whether it was the Empire, now Thrawn, the Remnant. They don't have a way of escaping it, even if they forge their own Force path, one in the middle that doesn't just follow the Jedi dogmatically. I think Ahsoka and indeed the audience is going to feel sympathy towards them. And so now on to The Mandalorian. Star Wars was never going to show fans the epic creature, the Mythosaur. This tidbit from Dave Filoni comes from the Disney Gallery for Season 3, and he said they never intended to show us the full creature out of the water. In spite of early rumours, that was exactly what they were going to do. They were going to show Bo-Katan riding the thing, but that didn't end up being the case. Here's what Dave Filoni says, quote, "The Mythosaur moment for her is a moment of faith, where she sees something that should be impossible, and she's asked to believe in it. If the creature gets up out of the water and reveals itself, it's just way too obvious. It has to be something isolated, something only she sees. And she has to make the choice. Do I trust my eyes? Did I really see that? Is that really possible?" And that question tormented Bo for many episodes, and we as fans were dying for her to tell the armourer that she saw the creature, which of course she did. And I do agree to some extent with Dave, it would have been too on the nose if the creature emerged from the living waters and we saw it in its entirety. That would have destroyed the mystique, the mystery, the element of magic, and the legendary nature of the beast, so it's kind of cool we just saw some of his face. And so now guys, another huge win for the Andor show, and once again they're being nominated for a very prestigious award, the TCAA's, the Television Critics Association Award, and they've been nominated for 3 categories: Program of the Year, Outstanding New Program, and Outstanding Achievement in Drama. I think it should win all of those in August when these awards take place. I've praised Andor time and time again, and one thing in common with all of these nominations is the drama category, and those that look to give credit for best overall show, and I do think Andor Season 1 deserved that. I believe it merited and deserved a much higher viewership than what it got, but as we go into the second season in 2024, filming takes place as we speak, I suspect Season 2 will get more eyeballs on it, based on pop culture impact because those who saw the show loved it, and word of mouth. I'm sure in the promotional material nearer the time there are going to be many more connections to Rogue One, and that's how they're going to market it. Star Wars Andor proved one very vital thing, that slow and steady wins the race, with so many great payoffs. How often do we see TV shows become disjointed as they rush towards their finale and inadvertently completely ruin the whole thing? Game of Thrones suffered that in their final season, and more recently there have been some Marvel shows doing the same thing, but Andor Season 1 led the way. Say what you will about the massive build-up, the slow pacing of the first 3 episodes, every decision was deliberate, and the entire time you felt confident the show knows where it's going. And it's worth pointing out Season 1 was an anomaly. They had a crazy budget which we're not going to see on Season 2, but I don't think the writing or the visuals are going to suffer as a result. They just became more practical with where to spend that kind of funding. And having 12 episodes a season really helps too. They're able to take their time with the story, and that is not a luxury afforded to many other Disney Plus series, but it's an opportunity Tony Gilroy grabbed with both hands. So excited for Season 2, and congratulations to all of the cast and crew on Andor. Diego Luna responded, "Humble as ever, I love that man." And so now, my dear friends, Kathleen Kennedy promises that Rey's new Jedi Order film in 2026 is gonna bring something fresh. That is the wording she uses. It's a reason I think we should avoid using the term Episode 10, because while some of the characters are going to be the same that we know from the sequel trilogy, they're aiming to do something very different, and just having some new voices at Lucasfilm such as Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy and Stephen Knight, I think we're in for a Star Wars film that's going to feel very unique. Fingers crossed, it's a good one. Now, on the subject of the Rey film, and I do like to keep you guys updated on all of the latest updates, all the news, I came across a very interesting article which I think was an opinion piece outlining the harsh realities of going into the Rey film in 2026 off the back of the sequel trilogy and the final installment of it in 2019, The Rise of Skywalker. Now, amongst these harsh realities, they kind of talk about the fact that Rey was very underdeveloped, how a lot of fans are going into this very skeptically, how in so many ways fans were expecting this to not do as well as Dave Filoni's film. They also mention the wasted Force dyad, the fact that Rey could have had so much more potential if Colin Trevorrow did his film, Duel of the Fates, instead of Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker by J.J. Abrams. I know that's a bit controversial, some fans say that film would have been dreadful, but there were certainly concepts in Trevorrow's version which I do believe would have been an improvement on Rise, because he didn't plan to spend 3/4 of the film retconning The Last Jedi, or at least try to change things that fans didn't like about Episode 8, but they ended up just convoluting matters. Duel of the Fates didn't step on its toes, it was plenty flawed, but there are some aspects which sound badass. For example, Darth Plagueis would have had a canon master who was not Darth Tenebrous, but rather Tor Valum, an ancient Sith who also taught Palpatine. But in regards to Rey, because that's what the 2026 film is going to be about, and that's the character we're focusing on, I would have loved her treatment in Colin Trevorrow's film. Her outfit, her approach to Jedi philosophy, she very much mirrored Luke's journey in Episode 6. She was a more stable and wise Rey, not to mention a badass black outfit, also a double-bladed blue lightsaber. Trevorrow's Duel of the Fates had Rey use the broken pieces of the Skywalker lightsaber to build a double-bladed one, which perfectly symbolizes honoring the past while forging a new future. After Trevorrow stepped down as the director for Episode 9, J.J. Abrams opted to have Rey rebuild the lightsaber. In Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy's 2026 Star Wars film, Rey is a Jedi Master. But I hope that doesn't mean she's going to be absolutely perfect. I hope in the same way that Luke and so many other Jedi Masters struggled over the years, even after being Masters, Rey is going to experience the same. Maybe more of her inner darkness is going to come out. That'd be awesome. And maybe whichever adversary, whichever dark side force is going to be tempting her, is going to be a challenge as well. I want to see more character development for Rey, so this does bring a new opportunity. And on the subject of this film, a rumor we heard a couple of months ago is that Finn, John Boyega's character, is going to be back as well. And now, that rumor's been corroborated by LRM Online, who say John Boyega's been contacted by Disney and Lucasfilm. Let's see how it plays out. In the past, John spoke out against Lucasfilm and Disney and made very clear he'd be reluctant to return, but I suspect if the paycheck is fat and the story is good, he's not going to say no. But with that said, my dear friends, that brings us to the end of today's Star Wars news update. If you enjoyed this one, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. May the Force be with you, always.